The Star Wars universe that you know so well could have been very different. Twist endings, character changes, and last-minute decisions by George Lucas have made cinematic history. Go back to the films that you love and learn facts that you've probably never heard before. Use the Force and click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of new content. Can you guess which movie is represented by these emojis? Stay tuned to the end to find out.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
Spielberg can't direct. Director Steven Spielberg already has a slew of hits under his name. This includes big-budget epics like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jaws, Hook, Saving Private Ryan, and Jurassic Park. If things went according to plan, then Spielberg also could have been the director on The Return of the Jedi. After directing the first Star Wars film, George Lucas stepped back for the sequels and let other directors take over. The only reason Spielberg couldn't take the gig is because George Lucas left the Directors Guild Spielberg was a part of. Lucas's reason for leaving the guild is even more interesting than Spielberg actually directing. For both A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, Lucas decided to cut directly to the opening title crawl instead of using traditional opening credits. The guild did not like this, but Lucas was insistent on starting directly with the crawl. Can you imagine random shots of space with actor and crew names before the infamous title text started? The decision by Lucas may have eliminated our chance at a Spielberg Star Wars, but the iconic title sequence is a tradition many fans love and view as an essential part of the movies.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
Liam Neeson's poor judgment. When the original Star Wars trilogy was made, it featured a lot of unknown actors taking main roles. As the trilogy of prequels was being planned, the casting decisions were very different. The big Hollywood stars like Samuel L. Jackson, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, Christopher Lee, and Jimmy Smits were cast for various roles. When The Phantom Menace was being cast, one of the main roles needed to be filled was Qui-Gon Jinn. Liam Neeson was one of the first actors offered the role, and in a surprising move, Neeson took the role without reading a single page of the script. He knew how important it would be to star in a new version of Star Wars and took on the character before knowing any background or detailed information. More surprising than his death at the hands of Darth Maul, Neeson was probably a little shocked to find out how many scenes he had with the much-hated character Jar Jar Binks. Seeing some of those scenes ahead of time might have changed his mind a little on the direction he wanted to go in the film. At least Neeson got out of the much-criticized prequel trilogy early on and didn't have to appear in episodes 2 or 3.
I won't fail you. I'm not afraid.
Yoda speaks the truth. For some reason, Star Wars fans really trust puppets, and this is especially true when it comes to the wise sage Yoda. First appearing in The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda delivers great words of wisdom to Luke Skywalker, and fans really cherish those scenes. This is why Yoda was used in Return of the Jedi for some pivotal moments early on. At the end of The Empire Strikes Back, fans around the world were shocked at the revelation Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Knowing how evil Vader was, a lot of fans and children especially were in denial of Luke's parentage and thought Darth Vader was lying. This is why the decision was made to have Yoda confirm these facts to Luke early on in Return of the Jedi. It helped eliminate any fan confusion, conspiracy theories, or false rumors about who Luke's parents really were. Sadly, fans may have had a hard time even processing this fact during these scenes because poor little Yoda was on his deathbed and slowly dying. If Yoda's revelation wasn't enough, we also saw the birth of Leia and Luke during the closing scenes of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Hola! Did you hear about our latest addition to our family? The Richest Español is the perfect place for all you native Spanish speakers out there. Don't speak Spanish? No problem. Come on over. This is the perfect place to practice. Amazing facts, interesting people, and funny pictures. Check out The Richest Español today.
Yeah, but this time I've got the money.
Ford takes two. When big franchises like Star Wars are being planned, producers and movie studios want to ensure actors will be around for the sequels. This is why there are often clauses in contracts or deals to keep the actors signed up for multiple movies within a series. When the first Star Wars trilogy was being filmed, this was the case for some of the main actors like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. One of the holdouts on the multi-film contract was Harrison Ford. Ford felt like the Han Solo story was fully told in A New Hope and didn't expect to see his character return in The Empire Strikes Back. As we all know, Ford returned for the sequel, but once again, it was for a single film contract. This is one of the main reasons Solo received the fate he did in the climactic scene of Empire Strikes Back. He was lowered and frozen in carbonite as a way to deliver a cliffhanger and give an excuse as to why Ford might not appear in Return of the Jedi. Lucas was able to convince Solo to return one more time, thus creating his dramatic rescue scene during the opening moments of Return of the Jedi.
You got a lot of guts coming here after what you pulled.
Lando's a clone. One of the best new characters introduced in The Empire Strikes Back is Han Solo's old buddy, Lando Calrissian. Brilliantly played by Billy D. Williams, the role added some new life to the franchise and provided a great twist in The Empire Strikes Back when he turns on Solo and hands him over to Darth Vader in Boba Fett. As good as Lando's scenes are in both The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Lucas had even bigger plans for the character. Lando was initially going to be a huge part of the Clone Wars. He mentions being a part of the wars, but his character was going to be one of the actual clones. Can you imagine a whole army of Landos roaming around? A draft of the script features these details, and even focuses on Lando's depression over missing his own clones. We all knew he was full of himself, but it would have really been some next-level ego boosting. Once George Lucas started working on Attack of the Clones, he clearly went in a different direction, which didn't involve Lando clones. Maybe we'll learn more about the cloning situation in the upcoming Han Solo movie where a younger Lando appears. Luke becomes Vader. There's nothing wrong with a happy ending, and that's exactly what we got with Return of the Jedi. It felt great seeing our heroes get awarded with medals, party it up with the Ewoks, and have a great time knowing that evil had been conquered and the good prevailed. During some story sessions on Return of the Jedi, that was not always the case. After Luke brutally attacks Darth Vader and cuts off his hand, we see him unmask Vader as they share a moment together. The scene was supposed to continue with Luke picking up Vader's mask, putting it on his head, and claiming that he was now going to destroy the rebels and follow exactly in his father's footsteps. The move would have out of left field and ended the trilogy with a lot more questions than answers. It probably would have been even more cringeworthy as when Darth Vader started screaming, "No!" at the end of Episode 3. Thankfully, George Lucas stuck with a happy ending as Luke got to see ghost versions of his father, Yoda, and Obi-Wan Kenobi all congratulating him for a job well done. Luke had never really shown signs of joining the dark side, and the whole franchise may have been looked at differently if that scene occurred.
Now let's see if we can't figure out what you are, my little friend. And where you come from.
Star Wars, flop of the century. The success of Star Wars came pretty quickly. Word of mouth spread about the film, and after the success of the first movie, it only got more popular from there. Each sequel did better than the last, and fans have come out in droves for the special editions that were released back in 1998. While Lucas could always bask in this success, the film was almost deemed a total failure. After putting together an early cut of Star Wars A New Hope, Lucas decided to show it to a group of director friends. Turns out a majority of them hated it. They didn't see the vision of the film, and some of them referred to it as one of the worst movies of all time. A lot of the effects were incomplete, but it was the story that they found lame. Through all of the negativity, Lucas did find some hope through his friend Steven Spielberg. Spielberg saw the potential for the film, enjoyed the action, and gave Lucas a lot of encouragement to get the thing done. Lucas went back to the cutting room, the film was finished, and released to a lot of fanfare as the box office numbers grew. A disturbance in the Force. George Lucas gets a lot of credit for being the sole creator of Star Wars, but there were a lot of other people working behind the scenes to help make the film trilogy. One of the key people working behind the scenes was producer Gary Kurtz. Kurtz was very influential during the first two Star Wars films, helping flesh out the stories and creating an emotional core. Kurtz not only helped produce The Empire Strikes Back, but he directed several scenes after the film's production and budget got a little out of hand. A few weeks before filming ended, Kurtz left Lucasfilm and the production altogether. Stemming from creative differences with George Lucas, Kurtz would not return for Return of the Jedi. Kurtz wanted Return of the Jedi to focus more on creating character dramas, while Lucas was more focused on the spectacle and creating fun action sequences. Lucas was very influenced by the non-stop action featured in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it was one of the main reasons a Death Star story was developed again for Return of the Jedi. While the film is beloved by fans and critics, it doesn't have same acclaim as The Empire Strikes Back.
The rebels' spies to her. Now she is my only link to finding their secret base.
The first film is fourth? With easy numbering and promotional materials, most modern Star Wars fans can easily follow the progression of the main storyline and even understand the place Rogue One has within the whole journey. It was a different story when the films were first released. Back when Star Wars A New Hope was released, Lucas originally wanted to give it an episode number, but 20th Century Fox balked at the idea because they thought it would confuse fans. We all see the Episode 4 title scroll when watching A New Hope now, but it wasn't always this way. The episode number scheme wasn't officially introduced to the world until The Empire Strikes Back. Once it was released with the Episode 5 title, all future releases of A New Hope featured the Episode 4 title added to it. It only took a few decades for fans to finally get a glimpse into Episodes 1 through 3. After years of waiting and an acquisition by Disney, we can finally enjoy all of the stories which extend beyond Episode 6. Without the numbered ordering and organization, who knows how the future of the series would have panned out throughout the years. It makes the whole journey easier to follow, especially when watching Star Wars marathons.
Don't you?
What's my name? Now, it's easy to name your favorite Star Wars characters and creatures. There's Boba Fett, Ewoks, and Palpatine, among other popular names like Chewbacca, Jabba the Hutt, and Darth Maul. We know their names when watching the movies, but if you actually pay attention to the dialogue and scenes, they are rarely called by their names in the Star Wars universe. Sure, book adaptations gave more insight into their names, but there was one thing which helped everyone learn the names of these characters: toys. George Lucas knew from the beginning how important the toy production was for Star Wars. Not only did fans gobble up all the different Star Wars collectibles, but it helped provide full names of characters. Boba Fett is actually referred to as a bounty hunter for most of his on-screen time, and the Ewoks are not said by name at all. The whole Ewok animated series probably helped a little bit as well. This tradition has continued with releases of toys today. Droids, aliens, and some of the random background characters are all given full names with their official action figure releases. It's a great way for younger fans to learn about the characters and really get their names down. Wow, there you have it. What facts surprised you the most? Are there any that we missed? What are you most excited to see in the next Star Wars movie? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Screen Rant on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos. The answer to our emoji quiz is